So we reached the ultimate test for our newfound Dragon Team member. Will she be able to do more than the one that she replaces? Hey folks, MasakoX here. Thanks to the efforts of my friends Sophie B. Powerhouse and of course Haverock, we have been able to bring to life the story of Videl, whose story in the original series started off really well and did provide a huge amount of character development for herself, her father, and Gohan, but then it went nowhere when she fell into the tradition of pushing the housewives into the background until there is a gag that can be used on them to make them relevant for all of 10 seconds. It's hardly a fitting way to use said person, so why don't we do something about it instead of complaining all the time? What if Videl got to be a Z fighter after all? This second half is a little more wild than the first half, simply for the fact that there is a little more vagueness to it. Also, Videl really didn't get to do anything in Super. Thanks to our story though, we've truly made her a compelling companion alongside the Son of Goku, not only in love, but also in fighting crime as the Great Saiyaman duo. We've been able to extend that chestnut into not only the daily grind, but also in fighting alongside the classic team members. Even with a Babby by their side, they are still going strong, and even able to make a career out of it, thusly making Gohan's need to be providing solely much less of a priority. You know, you can actually have a life outside of conferences. Perish the thought. In the last part, we tackled the Vegeta Black Arc. Videl wasn't on the front line of the proceedings, but she did do her bit, with her husband in tow, to talk Trunks and Mai down from being so responsible for everything that they did. They can genuinely relax for a little bit after fighting for their future for now seemingly decades, or nearly all their lives. With Gohan and Vegeta leading the charge as Vegahan once more, they were able to take down the fused Zamasu, with the prince more invested in this narrative, seeing as his imposter was involved, and not only had stolen his image, but also brought havoc to proceedings, again, another evil Vegeta, and also, most importantly, offed Bulma in a hideous way. Not only that, but we said farewell to Tapion. We did feel that he did get some good time with Dende to relax and unwind, have some peaceful moments and maybe even study up at his leisure, but the lure to help others was far too strong to resist. He had to help this future get back on its legs, and so he chose to remain in that timeline, being their guardian. Trunks and Mai would rejoin them soon, but for now, they were convinced to at least stay a little longer in the past and get themselves detangled, decluttered from all of the stresses and strains that they had been putting themselves through. Before we do get into more of this though, we can have a little fun with some of the mini arcs before the Tournament of Power, as they do involve Gohan and Videl, namely the Barry Khan adventure. Hercule had informed the couple that he had been approached to make a movie called Great Saiyaman vs. Mr. Satan, and he wished to include them in the proceedings, seeing as he was the main star and all, he could do what he wanted.
I could get you some passes on set, so that means you can go anywhere you want. It might be even fun for little baby Pan to have a day out with her folks, and of course getting to see her grandpop do his job.
Dad, you can just come over and see her any time, you know.
I know, sweetie, but it's just doing movies means I could do that. Plus make a little bit of money too.
Videl and Gohan were very unimpressed. We don't need the money, Dad.
Oh, come on, please! It sounds like such a cool movie!
The couple look at each other and, oh well, alright, fine. On set, Barry Khan does his thing and tries to woo Videl, but this time she takes his advances even worse than the original. Not only does she reject him outright in front of everybody, but she even slaps him, which sends him careening into a pile of used boxes and crumpled up in a heap. Oops, I guess I forgot to manage my key. The crew all laugh their heads off and cheer Videl.
Oh, cheers, thanks, lady! You have no idea how much we've been longing to do that. That guy, he's a total jerk.
With the crew on her side, Videl bows in jest whilst Barry seeks revenge. This time around, not with Gohan. He wants his revenge on Videl. How dare she show him up like that? Later that day, a bank robbery is reported, and now feeling pumped, Videl decides to break out the Great Saiyaman 2 gear for the first time since she had Pan. Why not? She was feeling quite good. She goes to help Gohan out. The crime is halted with no incident, but the press, oh, they go nuts.
Great Saiyaman 2 spotted! Is our heroine of justice back for good?
Read the headlines. Khan seethes under this. He hates this, as this is taking up valuable real estate for his comeback movie. Oh, he decides to hatch a plan from this. When the couple returns to the set, this time with Pan and a stroller, Khan approaches them and apologizes for his behavior, but he does state that there had been a rewrite overnight as well to include Great Saiyaman 2, seeing as she was trending recently, having returned from obscurity. He requests that Videl become the lead stunt woman, hoping she'd be made a fool of and even might get hurt. That'll show her. Gohan can see right through this and says to Videl she doesn't have to do this. They can just leave at any time. She has nothing to prove. No, Gohan, I want to. This is personal now. Even Pan nods in solidarity and gives Barry the stink eye. When the time comes, she dons the costume provided and does the stunts without problems at all, and in fact, wows the stagehands immensely.
Wow, not only is she sassy, but she's pretty sprightly too. Where has she been all our lives?
Pan was cheering her mother on, whilst Barry was fuming. This was not working out at all. He walks on stage and asks to have a word with Videl personally. Not worried in the slightest for her safety, Videl goes with him, leaving Gohan with Pan, looking a little worried. This doesn't seem right. And this is also when Jaco arrives and talks to Gohan, saying that there had been a local alien-like disturbance on Earth with an escaped entity known as Watagashi in this district. The readings from his biochip indicate that he was just here. You're not an alien, are you, Gohan? He points to where it was, and then Gohan immediately is concerned. We need to find Videl. Let's go, Jaco! Gohan sprints off, with Jaco hastily running behind him, and Pan choosing this moment to fly by her father. Them too wound up to even notice. When alone, Barry accosts Videl and tries to discredit her.
I have powerful friends who will ruin you and your family. Soon your father will have no choice but to disown you for how much shame you've brought to him.
Videl remains steadfast, not scared of this guy at all. She goes to leave, but Barry grabs her. And this is when Watagashi's powers come forth. Videl is shocked to see this power, but she is ready to counter. I knew it.
Knew what, silly girl?
Not only are you a model example of a jerk, but you're also a weakling.
What?
Videl powers up, this time with a strange aura she hadn't felt before. This was weird. And she felt lots of weird things lately.
Stop it.
This had been the first time she had been this pumped since she got pregnant. But no matter. She was ready to beat this guy to a pulp. She wanted to. He was clearly not what he seemed. Barry is helpless to her power, and this is when his Watagashi powers come forth even further, and it decimates the film studio. This meaning Videl having to retreat, not wanting anyone else to get hurt. Gohan and Jaco spot the hulking beast emerge and go in to assist. Well, I mean, Jaco assists from the sidelines. It becomes very quickly clear that with Gohan fighting alongside her, Watagashi cannot outmatch them. Whilst fighting, Gohan notices Videl's strange aura too, and takes note of it. He definitely will ask Whis about this next time they meet. This is very odd, but it doesn't seem to be harming her. For now, they beat the monster down, and in fact, Videl goes in for the kill. But Videl, we can't kill him! Think of Pan! Videl is furious with this hideous man that tried to tarnish her name, but she did back off, and instead just knocked Barry out cold, seemingly out of Watagashi's body, and thusly captures the monster for Jaco to take away from Earth. With the prisoner gone, Barry is powerless, and accosted by both Gohan and Videl, and even a little baby Pan, told to either clean up his act, or they will come for him again. It's wise not to get on the bad side of the Great Saiyaman. The coward he is accepts this, and the movie plows on to great success. Once the movie has been released, Gohan is reminded about his question to Whis. During their next training session, he asks the angel about Videl's strange key, and the attendant nods in understanding. Marvelous! It seems like Lord Beerus' theory is proving to be most accurate. Theory? What theory was that? He believed that by your wife merely attending training sessions whilst she was expecting, it would leave an impression on her. While she wasn't able to directly implement it for obvious reasons, her mind took on board the basic principles of it. Not to mention the sheer amount of it on display being absorbed by her. Anyone would. What? What did she absorb? God Key Gohan. God Key? She has it too? Probably not nearly as much as you and your Saiyan friends, but perhaps enough for it to be coursing through her veins in some degree, and more importantly, into your then developing daughter. Pan has it too? Maybe, but it's too early to say for sure, but we gods are quite long-lasting. We are prepared to wait for the results to make themselves known. Gohan was astonished. Wow. Now this is where things change slightly. Now instead of Goku triggering the tournament, we are having it so Zeno alone, just the one this time, reminds himself of it. Without another playmate, his boredom is even more pronounced than the original, and so the idea about this tournament from the Universe 6 arc flows to his mind much more quickly and easily. Besides, he was planning it anyway, regardless of Goku poking his mind in the original, as was proven by the end of the arc. In the sky, the GP arrives to request Beerus and Whis to go to the sacred world of the Kais immediately to receive important news. When they get there, the GP is there with them and announces the tournament, with the penalty for losing being erasure. Total, universal erasure. All for the entertainment of the Omni King. This is all for fun? He couldn't believe it. The Omni King, whom he had greeted in the tournament between Universe 6, had suddenly enacted this barbaric and stupid idea of a contest, with horrific consequences. No way. Why would the King of Everything do this? We got to tell the others, including Vegeta. Are you sure, Dad? He's already dealing with the arrival of his second born soon. He's probably stressed out of his mind right now.
Oh, and Whis, says Beerus, you might want to help Bulma out this time. She remembers what you said you could do from when Pan was born.
Whis laughed and nodded. Oh, very well. I don't want to get on her bad side. She might stop the treats.
Well, in that case, we definitely have to go and help her.
Beerus never having been this animated in years. When they get there, they indeed find a nervous Vegeta, but it becomes clear that they do need to tell him. But he refuses to attend, saying he needs to wait for his daughter to be born, which is when Whis goes off to do his thing. He arrives to see Bulma, so massive that she can barely move around, and acts all cheery, to which the engineer is not best pleased. I don't need your cheer right now, Whis. I feel like a whale. Oh, I can help with that. I remember your promise. Before Bulma realizes, Whis pokes his staff on her stomach, and within seconds, Bulla is born, cleanly, and swaddled in cloth from the angels. Bulma felt her body lighten in an instant. And then here was her daughter. No pain, no mess, nothing. With Bulla safe and sound, Vegeta is prompted to take part in the contest when Bulma gives her blessing. It was only an hour out of her day anyway. Over the course of the next couple of days, the team for Universe 7 is assembled much more swiftly this time round. The biggest changes come quite early, with Videl notably taking the place of Master Roshi, who declines the invitation, saying that he wasn't really cut out for this frontline combat anymore. The soldier battle from the Resurrection F arc was more than enough excitement for this old man. Trunks also declines the invitation, him and Mai having had a great time exploring the world without a care, and not having to do anything or needing work. Bulma did give them a very hefty amount of pocket money.
I think it's too soon to get myself involved in something so serious, guys. Mai and I really need this rest period before we go back. I appreciate the request though, but I'm sure you can assemble a team without my help.
Gohan understands where he's coming from, but Vegeta is a little disappointed that his son is shirking this offer, but he does ultimately understand. Eventually. Krillin and 18 gladly step up this time, neither of them needing prompting or cajoling, or in the latter's case, bribery. Alongside Piccolo, them as well as Videl and Gohan train together, and because of this, as well as all the downtime they had spent training since the Buu arc, both Piccolo and Krillin are quite a bit stronger than in the original for their counterparts. And as for 18, she is far stronger than her original self, having spent a lot of time training with Videl, as Vizuli and now Adel, and of course being one of the lead practitioners at the new Satan Castle Martial Arts School. And then she alone goes off to convince her brother to join the team instead of Goku doing it. He does accept this, having noticed how fired up his sister had become. And also, he couldn't bear the thought of seeing her stronger than him. I gotta prove to you that I'm no weakling, sis. Now, I bet you're thinking that Goku is, going to be reluctant to take part because of his newfound nature, wanting to be on the sidelines as per usual these days, but not so. He gets prompting from Chi-Chi of all people to take part. Goku was in a rut, not sure what to do. He felt personally compelled to fight in the tournament, sure, having seen firsthand the announcement and how scared he was, but he was again reminded of his own desire to lead a quieter life than before. Goku, this isn't some random villain, says Chi-Chi. This is the fate of everything. I don't think you can skip out of this one. And besides, if this tournament is as short as you say it is, it's no big deal. I'm sure you and the others will come out on top. Just be sure to be back for dinner, okay? Goku laughs and ultimately agrees to join the team. The team is assembled, 9 strong, but they need 10. Majin Buu is no good, he's fast asleep for 2 months, and Hercule absolutely crushed by this because of his friend's laziness. There's no Trunks, obviously, no Roshi. What about Frieza? Yep, Frieza is still called upon. This time around, though, it's not just Goku who suggests it, but Gohan as well.
Are you serious?
Cries out Vegeta.
I expected this from your father, but you? Have you gone mad?
Shouted Vegeta, who took personal umbrage from this, having seen his nemesis being packed up by himself to Hiffle. There is no one else willing to participate, Vegeta. There's not much time left either. The rules don't say fighters have to be living. I feel there's unfinished business with him anyway. Vegeta is cursing profusely, and Videl, she initially doesn't know what to think. Gohan, are you sure about this? I'm sure. If he kicks up, you and I can take him down. After all, we've done it before. Videl nods and nervously sighs with her husband, having first-hand experience of taking Frieza down, admittedly. Having bartered with the tyrant, both Gohan and Goku arrive to collect him, this time with no sign of Universe 9 interference, seeing as Universe 7 aren't seen by the Universal Collective as the instigators of this frightening competition this time around. The meeting is very icy, but Frieza is pleased to see his former rival and now his new one. I do appreciate the welcoming committee, gentlemen, but you needn't worry. I don't plan to be causing trouble, at least too often. So long as I get what I asked for, I will play along with your game. Besides, I very much would like to get to know you more, Son Gohan. You intrigue me muchly. Gohan looks stern. The feeling's mutual. This doesn't mean we're friends, though. Let's be clear about that. Oh, crystal clear, young one. Again, I shall play ball. For now. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Will Frieza be more likely to be sporting with this team with Gohan in charge? How do you think Videl will fare alongside the rest of the team with her seemingly emerging God Key? Will it actually make an impact? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!